Okay, hello, everyone. Welcome back to our next community AMA, where we're going to be going through a bunch of questions asked by the NFT Champions and Celestia Ultimate community. I have here with me Johnny from Amazix. Welcome.
Hey Matt, thank you. Thank you. Looking forward to the call.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. We got some interesting things today, more mechanics questions, more questions about next updates and everything. And we do have a tentative, next update time frame for you. That'll be coming at the end of this. So that's really cool. About 21 questions to go through at the moment. So if there's any questions as we go through this AMA, please feel free to jump up on stage and ask as you see fit. We do welcome anyone who's here to jump up and ask the questions that you have. I may or may not have the answers for you, but we're going to do our best to actually answer everything. So you ready to go?
Yeah, let's rock and roll.
Okay, cool. You are up.
So the first question, does the core team feel confident with their focus on updates along with the vast details of improvements that are to be made on their own? And then following that, are we still outsourcing work to help alleviate the core team in doing everything?
Yeah, so two questions there, and we'll split them here. So yes, the core team is quite confident about the improvements and updates they have planned. There's some really big ones coming. Land being among them, player versus player being among them, the burn mechanism being among them, which is great for that champ token that we're talking about. And to ensure all of that comes out with the quality that the core team does want, there are some aspects of that are outsourced, and that has been happening since the beginning. That is just part of the normal development process here. Many of the close partnerships, some of these outsourcing things that we're talking about, have been working with the project since its inception. So this is not like someone that you're bringing on randomly. These are people they've been working with for a long time. And Alex and the core team does feel like these are the people to lead us forward as well.
Great. So, next question, partnerships. Are there any being made to grow our reach and community? And if so, what is in the works?
Yeah, so I mean, this is one of those hard questions because we can say yes, there are partnerships being explored. I'm privy personally to some of those conversations, but you can't actually announce those things until they're solidified. So yes, there are partnerships that are coming forward, specifically working on increasing the community reach. And the approach here, the strategy here, has always been to make sure they're carefully examining potential alliances. What are the give and take for each party? And making sure there's an emphasis on engaging with the major players in the Web3 and the cryptosphere, making sure that everything that we push through is going to be something that is super valuable to the project long term, not just for the sake of hype.
Great. So, following question, does the team want to create a major in game marketplace, or are they going to rely on OpenSea?
Yeah, so the answer is kind of both of this. So there are improvements that are coming to the in-game marketplace. There are things that are going to be updated in the upcoming, patches that go forward, in the upcoming updates that go forward in the Epic Game Store. But also, OpenSea is the major place for trading NFTs, right? These both have their advantages. Obviously, you want a seamless in-game experience, but at the same time, you want people that are looking forward to the speculation, that want a little bit more pure NFT trading experience to be able to use OpenSea. So the answer is yes, both of the thing. The goal is to find a middle ground here that actually maximizes the value for people who are, for example, holding the passive rewards, for people that are playing the game. They're farming these champs and farming these eggs, and they're utilizing the token and that sort of thing. So there's a middle ground to be struck here. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. So the answer is both.
Great. Next question, has any of the team, excluding yourself, Matt, have been playing the game?
Yeah, I mean, of course, most members of the team have played the current build. They obviously are going in and not only testing it, but they're playing it to see what the likability is. How are they personally attracted to what's happening? What sticks well for immersion, and what maybe takes you out of that? So they're playing the build, they're testing, they're doing things like that for things that maybe they didn't catch during some of the testing phase before these builds were pushed out. Updates are actually going to be rolling out quite soon. They're going to grant the community more in-game independence. So these are things like the islands that we're talking about, the land that we're talking about, player versus player. These are things that are controlled by players. These are not things that are controlled by the team. So making sure there's a balance here. Once again, for the devs coming in and doing a thing, and at the moment dictating what's happening in game with the storylines, but also as it moves forward, saying that, hey, there is a player controlled element to this, of the idea that you own your NFTs, you own your in-game assets, and you're actually able to control those and then battle other players, farm eggs, do things like that. So yes, there are other people playing the game other than me from the core team.
Great, great. So, next question on evolutions. Will any of the current champions, exception to Vex, have a stage 3 evolution in the future?
Yeah, so Vex is the one champion right now. For those listening in the audience at the moment, Vex is the one champion that has a confirmed stage 3 evolution. There's no hard decision on making all champions have stage 3 evolutions, but there's definitely going to be more exclusive stage 3 evolutions. So, there might be a point where, okay, is this something that we want to go with everything having a stage 3? That conversation is still happening. However, there will be other champions that do have a stage 3. So it will fall somewhere in between there.
Great, great. And what will the max level cap be for champions in the future?
Yeah. So at the moment, the max level cap is 45. Okay. That being said, additional level boosts they might be available at a later point in the future. So, kind of looking at it, seeing how the evolution of the game goes, seeing how the player base itself evolves. Is that cap too low? If so, yes. Okay. Maybe we're going to move up the cap at the moment, but right now, 45.
Great. Will champions with 2 attributes on land drop eggs of the same qualities? And there's an example. Will a Dexus drop machine and fire eggs?
Okay, yeah. Once more, kind of a game mechanics question here. And so champions themselves will drop the same type of egg as their species, right? So, for example, Dexus and Dyrex, which are two of the same evolutions there, um, they will both drop a Dexus egg because Dexus is the first stage, right? So even if you fight a Dyrex, even if you get an egg from that battle, they will both drop a first evolution egg, which is the Dexus, and then kind of go from there.
Great. And how long has the team been working on PvP? And can they give us any teasers?
Yeah, so PvP is one of those things that's quite quite difficult to do because you have so many different, different things that are going into it. You have different inputs from different players. But that being said, the team has been working on the PvP since the first beta. So the first time the community was able to come in and play test the beta, that's when the team was starting to work on that. And the focus has always been on delivering an actual top tier experience to the players in that PvP. Uh, that means when you are dealing with things like NFTs, when you're dealing with things that are on blockchain, that includes robust anti-cheat measures, making sure that you have anti-bot things going on so no one can game the system. Additionally, making sure that there's an easy blockchain integration, a seamless integration there that allows us not to have big lags that are moving when you're having a player versus player and both players are pulling from the blockchain. That's quite difficult to do, and that's something they're working on quite heavily right now. And then make sure that when you're online, right, with someone else, the mechanics, the balance is actually somewhat good. So they've been working on it for quite a while now. It's coming in the next major update, but that's where the focus is right now. So it's the focus anti-cheat measures, making sure the blockchain integration is going and working correctly, and the balance is somewhat acceptable for a first release.
Great. Yeah, great to hear the PvP's main focus. That's going to be huge. Okay, so the next question, when will the leveling update your HP, your MP, and your stats?
Yeah, so there's been a little bit of confusion on this one specifically in game. There is a difference between leveling and fusing, right? Leveling itself only changes the move sets of a champion, right? You get to those certain levels, that 5, 10, the 15 level. And that's where you get these new moves that you can use in game. Um, but it doesn't necessarily change the stats. That's not something that leveling was intended to do. However, fusing does. So if you're taking a champion, you're fusing it into another champion. That's where the stats come up, and that drives demand for the NFTs themselves and creates a burn mechanic within the game, right? So you end up seeing this somewhat circular economy starting to happen here. You have land that will be coming out in the next major update that is putting out these eggs. You have to hatch the eggs on the land by using champ tokens. That egg will hatch into an NFT, right? If there's no way to take those NFTs out of the game, then there ends up being a glut of NFTs, right? So this is a mechanism where things are pulled out, where NFTs are pulled out and out and out in order to give players who are fusing a advantage by increased stats. So leveling doesn't increase the stats, does increase the move sets. Fusing does increase the stats. So you're going to be wanting to fuse as this game continues to progress.
Got it. Seems like the alpha here. Okay, next question. What will be the in-game usage of the champ token, and will the token get utility?
Yeah. So once again, like we're talking about, there's a lot of in-game uses that we're talking about with the being able to rent land from players, and then there's a burn mechanism there. Um, you also have to basically utilize this champ token for a lot of the new features that are coming out, right? So if you're looking at some of the things that are coming in future patches, those will be powered by the champ token. Also, when you're in game, the only thing you can use in game to buy these NFTs is the champ token, right? There's also things that are happening in the background. Team is obviously continually exploring ways to increase its utility. So the point is to create the circular economy, take as much champ as possible out of that economy and burn it through this land mechanism, which you have to utilize, right, to get your NFT to fuse. And then being able to use that for additional in-game items. So that's the beginning of this economy that will be expanded upon as we get closer to the 1.0 release.
Okay, and will our champions always roam as stage ones?
Yes, yes, they will always roam as stage ones. And the reason for this is that a lot of the stage twos and some of the stage threes that are being contemplated at the moment, they're huge, right? If you have a stage two or a stage three that's roaming behind you and it's a massive one, right? You're not going to be able to see anything. So, yes, all of the champions will always roam as stage ones.
And are champions able to evolve into a higher rarity?
So, yes, but maybe not in the way that you think of it. Um, since multiple champions, when you're creating this evolution here, multiple champions are actually required to reach that stage two. So, by the mechanics of the game, right, the stage two champions, the stage three champions are inherently less common than their default forms. That's just the way things work. If you have to put more effort into something, you have to put more NFTs, burn those NFTs to evolve, right? Of course, right, they're going to be more rare. So that's kind of by default, and that's built into the game mechanics.
Okay, thank you for that. So, next question. How do the starter champions evolve? Do we need to infuse NFT champions into them?
Okay, so I'm gonna say this as clearly as I can because I don't want any confusion. So the exact wording that I got on this one is yes. The way starter champions evolve mirrors the process of the NFT champions, right? So if you need to evolve your starter champion, you do have to put other NFT based champions into that champion in order to evolve it.
Okay. And any timeline for players to receive their NFTs back from the failed infusions?
Yeah, so there is a timeline on this. For those of you that do not know what happened in the audience, I'm going to give a little bit of a background here. When Fusion was pushed out in the last major update, there were some of the fusions that actually ended up failing. Um, During this time, the team did know this was a possibility. Obviously didn't think it would happen, but it did. Those NFTs that were being fused have been sent to a wallet that was controlled by the team in case this did happen. So there were community members that put these champions into their NFTs. It didn't work. And so, like, hey, where's my NFTs? I spent a lot of champ token on this. Those will be sent back to those players that have failed fusions this month. Okay, so those are sending out this month. Those will come back to you if you have a failed fusion. If you do have a failed fusion and you did not talk to me yet or did not send me on Telegram a message, please make sure you do that. Very easy to see Matt NFT Champions in the main Telegram chat. Send me a message, send me the proof, and we'll get those back to you this month.
Okay, and on the same topic of fusions, will the Hypergem burn after using it to evolve a champion to stage 3?
Yeah, so the Hypergem is actually a passive item, not an active item. So the Hypergem will not be burned when it is being used to evolve the champion to stage 3. So for those of you that had a lot of these boxes that from the passive rewards that ended up getting a Hypergem, that is super important because it's not burned, right? You are one of the only people in game right now that can evolve anything to a stage 3. So hold on to those.
Great. And will there be a mini map?
Yes, of course, there's going to be a mini map. It's going to be included in the next major update. The mini map, as it stands now, is going to highlight a few different things. Number one, it's going to highlight NPCs that have quests. It's going to highlight nearby enemies, things like that, as well as obviously map shape things along those lines, navigation, basic stuff you would expect it from a mini map in game. But that will be pushed out in the next major update.
Great, great. And with that, will there be any walkthrough as we get closer to the full release? And then just a mention here, it'd be great if new players could see how to move and battle.
Yes. So at the moment, there is documentation that is happening. It's going to be conveying guides, tips, tricks, things like that that new players can utilize. So yes, this is being worked on at the moment. No, it is not ready. There's a lot of information that's going into it. So definitely, as we get closer to full release, that will be released. When that happens, there's no exact time frame on that, but it's being worked on right now.
Okay. And question 18 here, Woodland visual / performance struggles when you're compared to the cave and lava dungeon. Seems to be due to how much bigger the Woodlands is. So what are the team's plans for improving the Woodlands area?
Yeah, so something that when you talk about game development here, you look at the things that suck most and you work on those things that suck most, and then you ship those things and they make them better. What sucks the next most, right? And then you work on that and so on and so forth while being able to balance the roadmap that's coming out. So yes, the team does know there is a difference between obviously the lava dungeon and the woodlands area. Lava dungeon is a little bit smaller, so it ends up having much better gameplay at the moment. Um, the team is focused on continuing to improve things like this, right? They do know it does struggle compared to the lava dungeon, but the team's focus is making sure that the performance is continually enhanced overall. Like, what is the thing that sucks most? Okay, we're going to work on that thing, and then that's going to be next. As far as the woodlands, visual performance compared to some of the larger things that we're talking about here, getting PvP out, getting lands out. I personally, and this is not the opinion of the core team, but personally, think the lands, think the PvP, think these major things, think creating that circular economy that we're talking about with the champ token are more important than upgrading the visuals and the performance of the woodlands at the moment. But the team is aware of it. They're working on things as quickly as they can.
Okay, and on the topic of updates, will the XP system be addressed during it? For example, Gruntus is the toughest battle currently and gives roughly 150 experience.
Yeah, so I mean, the team is definitely open to adjusting XP rates. Once again, if you listen to my previous question about that, is this the thing that needs to be the focus right now? The answer is probably no, but yes, they're very open to adjusting the XP rates. If this is breaking the game, obviously it's going to get adjusted a lot quicker. But for now, that's one of those things that maybe is a little bit further down the to-do list. But yeah, they're definitely open to adjusting XP rates depending on how hard champions are to battle, that sort of thing.
Okay, and currently the game is more user-friendly for controller players. Any plans to improve the experience for keyboard and mouse? For example, some players load up the game for the first time, they're getting stuck there as only UI for controller buttons.
Okay, absolutely on this one. So this is one of those big issues that the team has definitely said, okay, we do need to fix this ASAP. They have taken notice of this. They are in the process right now of enhancing the UI to make it more accessible for keyboard and mouse players. So obviously this was built with both of those things in mind, but there is a little bit of struggle right now on the keyboard and mouse side that is being addressed at the moment.
Okay, and finally, the last question here, Matt. All this mention about updates. We're wondering if there's an ETA on the next update, even if it's a rough estimate. Days, weeks, months, whatever that may be.
Yeah, so this is a great one. This is kind of in two parts here. So there's two major updates that are coming out shortly. This month, right? Not updates, but two major milestones that are coming out this month. First of all, items that are in game in our NFTs will be tradable via OpenSea this month. Okay, that is something the team is committed to. And also, they're sending out the additional NFTs to passive rewards holders this month. So those are two things that are happening right now. In early August, they're working on a large gameplay update with a marketing push with our partners. So there is a big gameplay update. Hopefully that will include the PvP in the land, but that will have a marketing push and that will enhance a lot of the gameplay issues that we have talked about at the moment. But beginning of August, we're looking at about just over a month at the moment. So that's looking really cool. Very excited about that. If we have any questions right now, this would be a good time to step on up and ask your questions as we've kind of come to the end of our list of things that the community wanted to know when I was asking in Telegram. We do these every single 2 weeks. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop into the community in our Telegram channel and ask. We will take notice of these, pass them on to the core team, and make sure they're answered for the next AMA. So if there's any questions, please feel free on drop a line here, raise your hand and come on up. If not, we are going to call this. So I'm going to wait for a quick second. And I don't see anyone coming up. So at the moment, that's it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Check out NFT Champions on the Epic Games Store. It is live right now. It is playable. And we're very excited to have you. If you want to come hang out with the community, come say hi in Telegram. You can come chat with me and other members of the team. And I believe we actually have one question here from Bizos. Let's get you up here real quick. Bizos, you're up. I believe you're muted, my man. Hello, hello.
Yeah, welcome. I just looking to ask, so it seems like if you have a passive rewards, so for a one account, you just need one Hypergem? Or how do you call it? That reward for fusing? Hypergem, yeah?
Hypergems are only for evolution to stage 3 champions.
Yeah, but like you mean it means like you need just one for an account.
Yes, just one for an account.
Yeah, well, like there is, and if you are still holding passive rewards, you are getting more and more and more. So,
I mean, that sounds like a good opportunity to sell them to the community.
Yeah,
in my mind, other people are going to need them, right?
But I'm just thinking, is it not market going to be fluid of them, like,
Well, as we answered last AMA, these passive rewards will be shifting as well. So what is happening now will not be the same passive rewards. It will be happening in 6 months from now. So the team is looking at balance. Obviously, if there's a million Hypergems in the game, they're not going to want to continue to reward those. They're going to want to reward something
because
else.
it's not going to have any value then. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dweebs, you are up.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
We can. Welcome, welcome.
Hello? Oh yeah, hey. Just wanted.
Hello.
I think we lost
Hey,
you.
is it? Was it? Did you
One second.
have me up, or was it someone?
1 second.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Dweebs
Oh,
is up
okay.
right now. We got muted on accident. Let's do that again.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
We can. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So there's no information so far regarding like I guess the champions move sets and like what each move does and types and you know, that kind of stuff. It's all like kind of experimental. But like for example, if you were to look at a game like Pokemon, you know, you can easily scroll through all the stats, the natures, the spec, what each I guess move does with the description and kind of plan. And I think that's like super key for PvP and stuff, right? So is there going to be like I guess an interface like that where you can kind of inspect your champions in more detail?
Yeah. So the first step here is making sure the documentation is set and ready, and we have all the information out there in public. After that, that would be the point at which that would be available. Number one, we just need that information to be out there. We need to be working with the dev team, myself and them, and Alex and everyone else is involved with the game itself on the team side, and then making sure that can go into game, making sure everything's correct, and then being able to push it. So yes, but not immediately. That's going to be something that comes closer to the full release of the game.
Yeah, thanks for answering that question. Appreciate it.
Of course, good question. Trevor, you are up next. Welcome, welcome. Once again, I think you are muted. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello.
We can hear you, Matt.
Trevor.
I think.
Trevor, you're up, I believe. You're muted at the moment. Okay, it seems like we lost Trevor. So if that is all at the moment, we are going to call this space for now. Thank you for coming, everyone. This will be available as a recording, so feel free to listen to it later, share with your friends, all that fun stuff. Come say hi in the Telegram and chat with us. Once again, I am Matt, and we will chat to you soon. Talk soon, everyone. Bye-bye.